Hey everyone, Carl and Erynn here. We're going to do the guitar backup right now, and it's going to be a wonderful tune, Ed Haley's Ate the Woodchuck. Blind Kentucky fiddler and his wife Martha Ella Trumbo did a wonderful backup on the mandolin on a lot of his tunes. So we'll follow her pattern a little bit here and have a lot of fun. Get Erynn to fiddle it for us right now before we jump into the nitty gritty. Good fiddling. Thank you, Erynn.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. So let's scoot in here and see what we can do with that three-part tune you may have noticed, which is always fun. Three parts are even more fun than two. So one thing, just the chord progression here goes from D to G and D, and then it splits a measure, A to D, and then the next time around on the repeat it goes D to G, and then where you think it's going to go to a D, do the same thing, it goes to an A and a D. So that's kind of nice, kind of a nice little, gives you a little bit of a, not exactly dissonant, but just kind of make an edgy spot there, which is very cool. So it does that on the first two parts, and the third part goes to a G and a D, A, D, does that twice, and then you repeat that. So that's got a nice, that third part has the nice four chord coming in there. So one thing, let's just look at a couple of things in the key of D. One thing, of course, you can always walk the bass. What I've done in the backup this time, just for fun, and in the fiddle video, you can kind of see what I might do when I'm not doing quite so much. But we're going to do a thumb hook, just the fourth string, and a thumb hook in D. So let's just try that a few times. Fourth string, thumb hook's that second fret. That's our first little maneuver. We're going to do that a lot in this backup this time. That's a great low bass note for you that leads you to the G chord. We're just going to do 6 and 5. Then I go to the fourth string D again. And then I put a little bass walk from the thumb hook note. 2, 3, and an A chord. And of course on the A chord you can bar it. You want that second fret on the second, third, and fourth string. You can do it about 4 different ways. So I kind of like barring it sometimes. You can also do 3 fingers in a row, or you can split them up. So experiment with your A chord, and I think you'll find that a lot of times you'll vary it as depending on what's coming up or where you're coming from. So I'm barring the A this time, hitting the fifth string for half a measure, and then you go back to D. That's halfway through the first part, so I'll do that much again. So starts D, thumb hook, G, 6 and 5. Then you have that fourth string D, then you have a little bass walk, 2, 3, A chord, fifth string, back to D. And then you keep going. This time I walked on up the fourth string to like an F-shaped G there. So let's just get that D here, fourth string. Then I just go up on the fourth string, 2, 4, and 5, which is kind of the top of the scale of that G note. And then you got your F shape just moved up to G, and I'm picking the fourth string as a bass. Kind of strumming 2 strings there, so I'm not going to give away my bass, because the third string I do a nice little chromatic walk this time. 4, 3, 2. Then I get that bar again. Third string's my featured note for a second strum, a couple of strings, and the fourth string, bass, and D. That's halfway through. You're going to repeat that. So I'm going to do all that first part of Haley's Ate the Woodchuck. So just kind of think about the way it sounds just walking the bass on the fourth strings. Got a little different sound than walking the low bass there. So here's the whole first part, and then I'll repeat it. And on the repeat, we'll stay low, I think. So here's what I got for the first part, what I just kind of went through. So 1, 2, here we go, 4, thumb hook, G chord, 6 and 5, D, 4, and then we're going to do a little bass walk, 2, 3, A chord, back to D. Now I'm going to D, 4 string, walking up, 2, 4, 5, F shape on the third fret, third string walk, A chord, 3 and 4, D. Then I do a little open 2 on the fifth string. That's like a traveling note back to D, and I've talked about that a bunch in the past. That just sounds like Remember, your traveling note sounds like shortening bread if you're going from the key you're in. So if you can find shortening bread, you've got the 6 notches of scale, or what I call the traveling notes, a good short bass walk. So there's my repeat. Starting over again, thumb hook, G, 6 and 5, and then I have that D in the bass walk, A to D. This time I'm going to stay low, and on the tab you'll see when you check it out, I've done a repeat there, just kind of did a shortcut, so I'm on the second ending right there. The same thumb hook, I'm going to do the G low, and this time I did a bass walk, 3, 4, A, and did a little walk on the 4th string, bluesy walk, back to D, and that's the first part. Do it all one more time. Got a pretty good flow to it there. Bass walk low, A chord, back to D. 4th string walk, F shape, walk that 3rd string, 4, 3, 2, A bar, 4th and a D. Traveling note, start again. Thumb hook, just kind of here with G, 6 and 5, D, bass walk. Now we're going to be in that second ending from the tab, the low, G, same bass walk, but this time we'll get to A. We're going to do a walk on the 4th string, 2, 1, D. Then we'll do something just a pick glide to get into our second part, which is the same, pretty similar stuff, but we're going to try a little something different technique just for fun. And some of this you may not want to do all the time, but I'm giving you some ideas to try. And one of the ideas is you can go from a high note to a low note, or you can go from low to high or high to low. So on the second part, I started trying just doing, you'll see what I mean here. We have a little, the thumb hook, and I'm just going to get a cascade, a pick cascade you might call it, from just 3 strings in a row to lead into that second part. You got to put a little pressure on there to get the timing good. From there we're in our strum, and what I've done, I've do the 4 and 5, then I do G, 5 and 6. We're setting a pattern up there. D with the thumb hook, so we're getting a melody there. Then I do a long bass walk, and this time I got the same thing, 4 and 5 for D, G, the 5th. This time I do the same old bass walk back to A, and that bluesy walk we did in the first part. And we only get to do that part once, because then we're going to the second part. So let's do that slow and just listen to that, how we're going from high to low in each part. And another thing, I don't know if we'll explore this time, but remember, you don't always have to hit the root for a starting note. That's what we're sort of doing here. We're hitting the alternate bass, some of this. So anyway, here's the second part with the pick cascade from the thumb hook. So I've got my thumb hook down for D, and I'm doing 6, 5, 4, and that becomes my start of my second part. Nice and slow, 4 and 5, G, 5 and 6, and then D again with a thumb hook, 5, and that low string 6, and then we have a long bass walk, open 2, 3, 4, the same 4 and 5 for D, the G, 5, this time we do a bass walk, 3, 4, A, and the 4 bluesy walk back to D, and right there, we're going to go ahead and talk about the third part, because we're going to go to the G, and I put a little sputter note, or just a long bass walk, and you might not want to do that, but it kind of builds excitement sometimes. Depends on how fast the tune's going as to how many notes you want to throw in there. Say they're playing in a medium clip, you could do this. So I'm doing the open D string twice, then I have open 1, 2, taking me to a G chord. So one thing to keep in mind, which I've mentioned before, is the rhythm. You can put that little sputter or double up on any note of a bass walk. I could do that on the, I'm doing the D. I could do the same bass walk and go, or you get the idea. So you can vary a lot just by adding a little double note in one of your notes of your walk. You don't want to get carried away with that. For one thing, if they're playing really fast, it gets a little hard to keep your timing. But great to work on being fluid with that. So let's try the third part. What I've done on that, I've just gone from the low to the high each time and climbed up a nice little exercise. And so I'm going up with that. Here's what I've done. I go from 6 to 5 on the G. And the D is 5 and 4. Now I get my bar A, that's that 2nd fret. But now I'm going to reach down and get that 4th fret on the 5th string. And I'm strumming kind of, the first 3 strings, because I don't want to give away my 4th string. So that's the 4th fret, 5th string. Bar in my A chord, strum maybe the first 3 and get that 4th string. So you see how we're climbing there? G, 6, 5, D, 5 and 4. A is that stretch. That's the 5th and 4th string. Now we have D. And now here's something we want to keep that pattern. So we're going to go up, try your D chord as a bar chord, which I think we've done in the past. Bar, 3 strings, and then you get the D note with your 2nd finger on that 3rd fret, 2nd string. And that lets you reach over here and get that 4th fret. That'd be the note we'd need. You can also leave the 1st string open and not even strum it. Or some people like that kind of jazzy, folky sound there. So here's my D chord. So you can just go ahead and go to a bar D. Sounds like an old ranch somewhere, the Bar D Ranch there, where they have a honky-tonk every Thursday night. So there's your D, and then I reach up and put that 3rd finger on the 4th fret. We're copying that A pattern. Of course, our tuning's different, but you got your bar A reaching up to the 4th fret. D, the same thing, 4th string. Now we're going back to our good old pal, the F shape for a G chord. And again, we're going to pick the 4th string and the 3rd, going low to high. Hear that same pattern. I'm just strumming 2 strings there, not to give away my bass notes. You can strum that, but it's kind of clear if you don't, right? Then I'm going to my bar D again, going the other way, and I'm running out of room, so I'm going to go back now, the 3rd and then the 4th, and reverse the A pattern too. And then we're back to that. You get to repeat that, so nice and slow. G, 6 and 5, D, 5 and 4, A, stretch that 5th and, that's the 4, 2 frets, but the 5 and 4 string. D, bar the D, reach up that 4th string, 4th fret. G, F shape, 3rd fret, and again you're picking 4 and 3. Low and high, D, high and low. Got that bar D still. Bar the A and reach that low, high and low. And then at the end I just do that pick cascade again. So I'll just try all 3 parts in kind of the right order. So again, just what I'll do is put a chord chart too. So just it's nice to be able to make a chord chart when you have a backup. Some people have a whole notebook of just the chord backup for tunes, and that's a nice habit to get into. I wish I could say I've done that a lot, but I do enjoy writing them out for myself, and just you can really see how the layout works there. And Martha, Ed Haley's wife, really did a straight downbeat, dung, 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 right on the downbeat. She really kept that going, so her backup's pretty strong and kept him going. He was a driving fiddler, but I think she helped him a lot there with her solid backup. So here's all 3 parts of Haley's Ate the Woodchuck, and I'll just do it nice and slow, and then you can go back and play along with Erynn on the fiddle video there. So, and try these. And also, what I did on the fiddle video was a little less and maybe some more walking. Remember, you can always walk more or less. You can always take out a lot of this stuff, but just gives you ideas to explore pieces of the puzzle. You can put them in or take them out and see what you like. Make up your own backup. Kind of following your chord chart that you're following. So here we go. 1, 2, first part. Traveling note, starting again, first part, thumb hook. Second ending. Second part, pick cascade, high and low, long bass walk. Do a little sliding there. Bluesy walk, 3rd part, low to high. Repeats that, that's fun. Or that D. That's pretty fun, and a great exercise just to be able to cascade up your 3 chords in a key and go from low to high or high to low, and the melody might give you some ideas of which you like better. So I think you have a lot of fun with this, and also just doing the root of each chord without doing any movements good too. Just that D, just to hear there. Follow your chord chart and I'll get that. Kind of thing's really good too, so keep that in mind. That might be a great backup too. So experiment, but have fun. The guitar is a wonderful instrument, and I'm always amazed at how much I enjoy playing the guitar, and I hope you do too. So Thanks for tuning in and have fun with this tune. Haley's Ate the Woodchuck.